Hello and welcome to our channel. We're going to tell you a story. It was a cold night in the city. A young man named Daniel sat under a broken streetlight. He had no bed, no blanket, and no roof above his head. His only pillow was his small backpack, and his only blanket was the old jacket he wore. Daniel was poor. He had no home, no money, and no family to help him. Life was very hard for him. Most people walked past him without even looking. Some looked at him, but their eyes were full of pity. Others judged him, thinking he was lazy or weak. But Daniel was not lazy. He was not weak. He had a dream inside his heart. And that dream gave him the power to keep going. His dream. Since he was a child, Daniel wanted to be a musician. He loved the sound of the guitar. When he was younger, his father used to play the guitar for him at night. But his father died when Daniel was just 12 years old. Soon after, his mother also passed away. Daniel became an orphan. He lived in different places, sometimes with relatives, sometimes alone. But life pushed him out onto the streets. At 19 years old, Daniel had no home. Yet, in his heart, he still carried the sound of his father's guitar. He still carried his dream. To play music for the world. To touch hearts with my songs. His struggles. Every day was a fight. Daniel woke up hungry. He searched for food in trash bins. Sometimes kind people gave him a piece of bread. Other times, he went to sleep with an empty stomach. But at night, under the streetlight, he wrote songs in a small notebook. He didn't have a guitar, so he drew one on paper. He imagined his fingers moving across the strings. He whispered the lyrics quietly so no one would hear. One night, an old man who sold coffee on the street saw him. The man asked, "Why are you always writing in that notebook?" Daniel smiled shyly and said, "I'm writing songs. One day I will be a musician." The old man laughed softly. "You have no home, no food, and no guitar. How will you become a musician?" Daniel looked at him with bright eyes. "Because I have a dream. And I will never give up." The old man was surprised. No one on the street ever spoke with such confidence. From that day, he gave Daniel a free cup of coffee every night. It was not much, but it warmed Daniel's heart. The first step. One morning, Daniel saw a boy playing a small guitar near the bus stop. The boy's family was poor too. They played music on the street to earn money. Daniel walked up and asked, "Can I try your guitar for a minute?" The boy's father looked at Daniel. His clothes were dirty, his hair messy, but his eyes were full of hope. The man gave him the guitar. Daniel touched the strings for the first time in years. His hands were shaking. But when he played, the sound was soft, beautiful, and full of emotion. People walking by stopped and listened. For a short moment, the street was silent, only Daniel's music filling the air. When he finished, people clapped. Someone dropped a coin into the guitar case. Then another person gave more. Daniel smiled for the first time in weeks. He realized, this is the beginning. Sleeping with hope. That night, he went back to his corner under the streetlight. His stomach was still hungry, but his heart was full. For the first time, he believed his dream was not impossible. He whispered to himself, "One day, I will play on a big stage. One day, people will sing my songs. I just have to keep trying." And so, even without a home, even without money, Daniel decided he would fight for his dream. No matter how hard life became, he would never give up. The next morning, Daniel woke up with a new kind of energy. The memory of holding that guitar stayed in his heart. It felt like his father's voice was whispering, "Keep going, son. Don't stop." Looking for a guitar. Daniel knew he needed his own guitar. But how could he buy one? He had no money, not even for food. So he started looking for small jobs. He washed cars for strangers. He carried bags for people at the market. Sometimes he cleaned tables at a food stall just to earn a few coins. Every coin he earned, he saved in a little tin box. He did not use it for food, unless he was starving. Most days, he ate very little, but he didn't complain. Because every coin was bringing him closer to his dream. The first guitar. After many weeks, Daniel finally had enough. He walked into a small pawn shop and asked, "Do you have a guitar for sale? A cheap one?" The shopkeeper looked at him and said, "We have one, but it's old. No one wants it." He brought out a guitar with scratches and broken strings. It didn't shine. It didn't look beautiful. But for Daniel, it was perfect. He paid with all his coins, hugged the guitar, and walked out smiling. It was the first thing he owned that mattered to him. That night, under his streetlight, he played softly. Even with broken strings, the music filled the air. Some people walking by stopped and listened. One woman dropped a sandwich beside him. Another man gave him a blanket. The guitar had already started to change his life. Singing on the street. From then on, Daniel played every evening at the corner of the busy market. At first, only a few people stopped. But little by little, more began to gather. They liked his voice. They liked the way his music felt real. It was full of pain, hope, and love. Children clapped their hands. Old people nodded with closed eyes. Some young couples held hands while listening to him sing. And every night, a few coins dropped into his box. It was not much, but enough to buy food. Daniel's stomach was no longer empty every night. A stranger's help. One evening, while Daniel was playing, a man in a suit stopped. He listened quietly until the song ended. Then he walked up and said, "You have talent. Why are you singing on the street?" Daniel told him everything about losing his parents, having no home, and his dream to be a musician. The man's eyes softened. "My name is Mr. Carter," he said. "I work with a small music company. Come tomorrow to my office. I want to hear you sing again." Daniel could hardly believe it. That night, he didn't sleep. He just held his guitar and whispered, "Father, Mother, maybe my time is coming." The big chance. The next day, Daniel went to the office. He was nervous. His clothes were old, and his shoes were torn. But when he started singing, the room grew silent. His voice carried emotion so deep that even Mr. Carter's assistant wiped her eyes. Mr. Carter smiled and said, "You have something special. I want to record a song with you." Daniel's heart jumped. For years, he had dreamed of this moment. His first song. A week later, Daniel stood inside a small recording studio. Headphones covered his ears. A microphone stood before him. He closed his eyes and began to sing the song he had written under the streetlight. The lyrics told his story about pain, hunger, dreams, and hope. The music was raw and true. When he finished, the room was silent. Then everyone clapped. Mr. Carter said, "This song will touch hearts. We will release it." Rising slowly. At first, only a few people listened. But then, more and more began to share his song. Soon, radio stations played it. People searched for the singer with the soft voice and deep words. When they learned his story, that he was once homeless, hungry, and still never gave up, people respected him even more. They said, "This young man is a fighter. His music is real." Concert halls began to invite him. Just simple and clean. He sent money to children's shelters, because he knew what it felt like to be alone. The dream comes true. 1 year later, Daniel stood on a big stage for the first time. Thousands of people filled the hall. The lights were bright. The crowd was loud. Daniel held his guitar tightly, For a moment, he closed his eyes. He remembered the cold nights, the empty stomach, the broken streetlight. And then, he remembered his father's voice. "Keep going, son. Don't stop." With tears in his eyes, Daniel began to sing. His voice was strong, full of life. The audience cheered, clapped, and sang along. In that moment, Daniel knew his dream had come true. He was no longer the boy with no home. He was a musician, and his music belonged to the world. The lesson. After the show, Daniel spoke to the crowd. He said, "Years ago, I had nothing. No food, no home, no family. But I had a dream. And I never gave up. That dream saved me. And if you have a dream, don't give up. No matter how hard life gets, keep trying. Because dreams can come true." The people stood and clapped for a long time. Some cried. Some smiled with hope. And Daniel smiled too. Because he knew his story would help others believe in themselves. I hope you enjoyed this story. Have you ever experienced? Share your stories with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories and adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.